Hello friends, welcome to Dots of Destiny. Om Namah Shivaya. Friends, this video is on the transit of Mars in Taurus. This will be a very important transit of Mars, as this year Mars will only transit up to Leo, and that transit will continue for very long. Taurus is Kendra to Leo, and while Mars will be in Taurus, it will have an aspect on Leo where Ketu is. It will have an seventh aspect will be on Scorpio, its own sign, and eighth aspect in Sagittarius. The placement of Mars in Taurus, if we take it is the second house of the Kalpurush Kundli, is good in many respects, and also there can be certain glitches are there that defines for all planets. Like in a particular position there will be some positives, few negatives also. So if you take Mars position in Taurus as to understand what it can bring to your plate, as Mars is in a very dynamic condition as of now, being in Aries. It'll start with Taurus on transit starts from 21st of June to 2nd of August. And while Mars is in Taurus, Venus the dispositor will have conjunction with Jupiter and Ketu. Now see, the point over here is that the nakshatras that are in Taurus is favorable for Mars, because first as it enters Taurus, it is in Kritika nakshatra. As of now, Mars is transiting Kritika. It will be continuing the transit in Kritika, which is Sun's nakshatra, and Mars is very crisp and dynamic in this kind of nakshatras, which is Tikshana. Because Kritika is a very cutting nakshatra, and it is very spiritual also. It is very dynamic. It is like the sun, very disciplined, and it is quite sharp. It is denoted by a sharp object. So Mars does good over here in Kritika in lot of ways, which is dynamic, especially in gathering resources. Only problem with Mars and Kritika could be because Taurus is the second house. So wherever Taurus is placed in your horoscope, it can bring in some sharp tongue. The language can become a little sharp for many people. These kind of things can happen. So the tongue should be in check. Okay, next it goes into Rohini. Rohini is a creative nakshatra, and it is ruled by Moon. Again, it is friends to Mars, and Mars does well in Rohini. These are all the Moon nakshatras are quite conducive to accumulation of wealth. Mars over here in the sign of Venus, in the accumulation sign in Rohini nakshatra, does good. If it is a wealth accumulation kind of a thing, if you are waiting for some kind of money, you're looking after all those wealthy factors, then Mars is good in Rohini nakshatra. Then comes when Mars comes into its own nakshatra, Mrigashira, that will continue up to Gemini. That is also good. It is its own nakshatra till Gemini also, as it takes it over. Mrigashira goes over to Gemini. That is also good. Problem happens when Mars goes into Adra nakshatra in Gemini. As of now, Taurus, the sign of, Taurus is the second house. All the significance of the second house and Venus comes under Taurus. It can be good food, it can be good family environment, it can be accumulation of money, it can be the way you speak, it can be also gold and wealth, the accumulation also. So here, as Mars transits in Taurus, some upliftment more in the gold values will be seen, especially when Venus reaches Leo. That is because the dispositor of Mars is Venus, and now it is in conjunction with Jupiter in Pushya. And slowly by the July month, 7th of July, Venus will go into Leo. First, obviously, it will meet Ketu, but after the initial conjunction, the Mars factor in Taurus and the Venus factor in Purva Falguni in Leo is a good time for wealth generation. Then onwards, Venus goes in the August month, Venus goes into debilitation, which is also good for monetary all over the world. So this is the take of Mars in Taurus. Mars does well in earthy sign. Actually, Krur grahas like Mars, Rahu, Saturn, they do well in Taurus, and Capricorn, I'll say more Taurus. Capricorn is a difficult sign, but earthy, and Virgo also. So Rahu, Saturn, Mars, they do very well in Taurus and Virgo. Very well. Yes, patience is the key, because earthy signs are the signs of patience. That is why I like, being a firing sign myself, I like the flavor of earthy sign, and I have planets in earthy sign. They taught me how to not go forward without thinking, do not jump into actions, how to maneuver with patience. That is very important characteristics of Mars. So this is good. The geopolitical conditions, here I talk a little bit, because whatever is going on in the world, if you know that India has a Taurus Lagna, Mars will be coming on the Lagna, and a very important transit of Mars we will see from June month to the July month, right? From June 21st to August 2nd, this. Now, because the conditions are, see, usually I do not go into geopolitical issues. Why I am stating is that those who are watching my video, they have an idea, a rough idea of what is going on around us. Because this transit of Mars is on the Lagna of the India, which is Taurus. Our independence chart is the Lagna is Taurus, and Mars will go into Taurus now, and Rahu is placed over there. There will be certain very important and a little bit you can call reformatives and resource gathering oriented decisions that would be taken at this month of time. This time when Mars is in Taurus, because Rahu is originally placed in Taurus on the Lagna of India, and while Mars crosses this Rahu, because the dasha is also Mars Mahadasha with Rahu Antardasha, some reformative ideas, some little bit communal tensions, or internal tensions, this is a significant transit for India that is going to happen, because Mars is also fighting. And though it is in the earthy sign, as I said, the placement is much less violent than originally. Mars is in like a sign like Leo or Aries, or for that matter Sagittarius. But still, as it will be crossing Rahu on the Lagna of India, India will see certain important decisions, and certain you should keep safe in this time. Without going too much into the negativity of it. Another thing is that in this transit of Mars, it will be aspecting Leo. Now this I will be mentioning for each ascendants. Ketu is already there in the Magha Nakshatra, which is quite volatile in Leo. Ketu is quite cutting in its own nakshatra and very prominent and very strong at this point of time. And Mars' fourth aspect will be on Leo. Yes, fourth aspect of Mars, as we see in the Kalpurush Kundli, is in Cancer. It's a debilitated aspect, but it is an aspect to save the motherland, mother, to protect. We can put it in that way. But because this is Leo, the protection may come from Mars. Definitely Mars favors Leo, but since Ketu is also there, it becomes a little volatile wherever Leo is placed in your horoscope. This needs to be understood. Suppose this is my for me it's my Lagna, so there can be sudden spurt of anger. Wherever it is there in your horoscope, it has to be this time when Mars is in Taurus. The first aspect of Mars is in Leo. So that needs to be under your check, and that I'll mention for each ascendant. It is looking volatile. The Leo area is not very stable. That is the first thing. Second is seventh aspect of Mars will be on Scorpio, which is good, but yes, certain kind of transformation Mars also brings in Scorpio. Sagittarius, it can be quite, because ultimately the eighth aspect is like cutting out the enemy. But because it is Sagittarius, if you cut out also certain things from your life, it will be a necessary cutout. So these are the three aspects of Mars, which is very important. At the same time, Sun also will be in Gemini. As Mars crosses over Taurus, Sun today only it will go into Gemini. So this is a back-to-back transit in 1 week's time. So yeah. Sun in Gemini is quite creative, and it is nice in the third house Gemini. It is dynamic, it is all these things are there. So that is why Leo having too much Ketu is there, Mars aspecting can become very, very turbulent, because Sun is also in a quirky sign like Gemini, in a desirous sign like Gemini. Whatever, these two transits, I'll be talking about each ascendant. Very important transit happening. Each transit in this, whatever coming up, the 6 months that is left for the year, the later half of the year is very, very, very defining. Now you will say the earlier half was not enough. Yeah, it was, but because see, it was more chaotic. Mars, Rahu, Mars, Saturn. But as now the things will be very different, it will be diplomatically different, and certain decisions and certain governmental decisions, different governments of different countries can take different kind of rules, and which affects us in different way. So as the transits progresses, I'll be talking a little about these geopolitical issues also, because the share market, your economy, your buying real estate, to buy, not to buy, many things are dependent on these transits. Henceforth we have to be quite skeptical and quite conservative in our approach. So let's begin with the ascendants. Aries ascendant. Aries people, Mars is coming into your second house. I hope that you had a strong Mars in the Aries till now, and you had been able to force your will and taken certain decisions which may have been pending. But see, first thing is that Mars is good in the second house for wealthy matters. Your understanding of wealth, your accumulation, your leaning towards that, your decisions towards that, these things should be good. Problem with this, if I talk, is Saturn is having an aspect on this Mars. This is the first thing. So there can be certain hiccups on the way. Once a thing you want to execute can take, because Saturn slows down, it can take more than one time, and you feel frustrated with that, because Saturn's third aspect on this Mars can be a little challenging. Second thing is that, but it is good for your, only thing is that you have to put a check on your tongue. But it is good for any kind of wealthy matters. It can be even the 8th house wealth, the legacy kind of a thing, the insurance, investing in it or getting money from there, all these things, because Jupiter and Mars both are aspecting Scorpio, the 8th house now. And 8th house is a monetary house. And if you like, see, there can be sudden change of plans also, because when these two, the ninth lord and lagna lord, is aspecting the eighth house, there can be sudden change of plans, or you go through certain processes where you want to rethink it and then execute it. Whatever is the case, Mars is good in Taurus. That is the first and foremost thing. Second house Mars is good for wealthy matters, little less good for family fights, and also whatever you meant to say, it can be very sharp, and that needs to be controlled. Second thing is that when Mars is aspecting the Leo house, the fifth house, Ketu is already there. You have to be quite careful with your children, your love matters, and all these things, because obviously it can be a little volatile out there. And because Jupiter is Atichari, Mars is also aspecting Leo, and Ketu is already set over there in the Magha Nakshatra, it is like quite fiery in the fifth house matters. Here your love matters, your progeny, your wealth speculative matters. That is why 8th house also comes in. I mean, see, if you want to draw profit from something, you can well do that. But as of now, suddenly going into investing is not very much advised, because yes, Mars is friendly to Leo, definitely, but you know, it when Mars and Ketu are jointly somewhere in that sign of Leo, it is having some rash decisions, and unnecessarily risk taking ability can come to you. That is why luck can favor certain other things, luck can favor, but speculation should be at this time. Investment can be avoided, especially I do not like Ketu when it is in the fifth house. It first takes you towards some kind of a better reward, and later, you know, punishes you for that. So rest assured, and your love relationships can see certain turmoils or certain unnecessary heated up things, and that also with the progeny, especially if it is a elderly progeny, you have to deal it quite carefully if it is sensitive in whatever way, if it is at all. So otherwise the transit of Mars is good, and that is why from 21st June, and Sun will also be in Gemini, third house. There can be the fifth lord in the third house. There can be travel for creativity. You can feel very creative, you take new decisions, your decisions mostly will be correct. You can I mean, all these things, you can come into some kind of a limelight, and these things are good. Only as I said, speculation, love matters, and your tongue, these three things are the main downside of this transit. Otherwise it is a good transit for the Aries people. Taurus ascendant, it is on the Lagna. Now because Taurus, this is the 7th lord and the 12th lord on the Lagna, it is challenging definitely in some aspects. Now because see, first when Mars comes on the Lagna, there can be a sudden busyness, or you feel I am not doing anything, I want to do something, and as fast as it can go. But understand that it is your 12th lord coming on the Lagna, and Saturn is aspecting this Mars from the 11th house. So any fast forward decision needs to be taken in a very calculative way, and not in a heated up spur of the moment. Because why I'm telling this is that when Mars is you're having Mars on your Lagna, Venus, your Lagna lord, will have a conjunction with Ketu in the month of July in Leo, and Mars will be aspecting that Leo area. So any kind of real estate matters, any matter of the house, any change of house, because Jupiter will now be in the third house, anything at all, whether it is a health of your mother, it can be even your own health, it should be all under, because Mars and Ketu, Venus is now, it becomes very blurry in the sense that, because see, Ketu is very, very ignition kind of sharp, and Mars is also fire. So both these planets, Ketu is there in the 4th house and Mars is now aspecting the 4th house, and Venus is in the midst of it, especially in the month of July. You have to be very careful with what you're doing, not on the momentary sudden decision, not in a heated up moment. Keep calm, keep your patience, do not hurry. This transit can sometimes, you suddenly, because Mars is real estate and Venus is in the 4th house with Ketu, you suddenly go for some investment. So if it is required, you'll do, but you have to make a good research and you have to be very particular with the papers, because here Mercury, because Mercury is paperwork, will have a transit into Cancer and back to Gemini. So there will be a retrograde Mercury during this time when Mars is on the Lagna. Yes, your partner can influence you in certain way, or your partner can be a savior, or it can become a priority at this point in your life. You can go for marriage also. Many Taurus people are, because Jupiter has come into the 3rd house, Saturn is in the 11th house, and now Mars on the Lagna. All can be factors of marriage also. It can be. So like this, it is a transit which looks very dynamic on the prima facie because it is on the Lagna, but the transit may not be very easy. It can bring you opportunities also, because Mars does not want you to be, sitting at a place, or if you're looking for opportunities, it may bring. But all these things, in the midst of all these things, you have to be careful, because the 8th aspect of Mars is also on your 8th house. So some accident prone and these things, you have to be very careful. Mars and Jupiter both are aspecting your 7th house. So some kind of a partnership, relationship, marriage, these things are also favored in these kind of because marriage is a Mangalik institution, and that's why we always see the gochar of Mars when is the month, if at all a marriage has to happen, or a relationship. You can feel very attached also to your partner, you can feel very possessive about your partner. All these things can happen with Mars on the Lagna. Just keep calm, understanding that, especially I'm telling the month of July, when Venus will form a conjunction with Ketu after 7th of July, initial part in Magha Nakshatra, you should be careful. Any kind of decision should be taken, whether buying something, a car, a real estate or whatnot, shifting place, going to different city or whatever, should be done with taking a better time, better muhurta if it is necessary. So that kind of a precaution should be taken in this transit. Gemini ascendant. Gemini, this is your 12th house Mars. Now Mars is in your 11th lord, going to the 12th house can bring in some expenses, or even you can because it is the 6th lord also, you can face some heated up competition, which is little, it is not in the open. Some backbiting, some politics, some kind of things, because Jupiter and Mars both will be aspecting Scorpio, and Mars will be aspecting your 3rd house of Leo. Sun will be your effort lord, Sun will be in Gemini, your 1st house. So what happens in these kind of scenario is that if you face a situation which is not in your favor, considering the 12th house Mars, and Mercury goes retrograde in midst of this, from Gemini to Cancer, back to Cancer, as Mars is in Taurus. So be careful with your documentation with your enemies. It may happen that they are forceful. Office politics, because Saturn is aspecting this Mars in the 12th house. There can be, if at all, 6th lord in the 12th, any kind of operative things, operation, healthcare needed, Mars will do that. because Mars is the savior of it. It is our body. Mars is the Dharti Putra. It is the soil. It takes care of our body. And if any kind of rectification is required, Saturn is also aspecting the 12th house. It will be done. So these, in competitive matters, it does not look very good. Till now it is good. When the 6th Lord is in the 11th house, as I speak, Mars is in Aries. But when Mars goes to the 12th house, the 6th Lord in the 12th house, now don't rely on Viparit, Raj Yoga and all these things in transit. They do not, they fizzle out. As it is, Viparit Raj Yoga and Nij Bhang Raj Yogas are not easy. It takes a long term to fulfill. These are good to listen to, but in actual application, these are not easy Raj Yogas, especially Viparit Raj Yoga and Nij Bhang Raj Yoga, which takes in consideration the 6th Lord, the 8th Lord and the 12th Lord. So 6th Lord and the 12th Lord, yes, one thing, if you are giving up on certain monetary loan or anything and you want to complete it, that may be done. It can lead to that kind of a thing. If you want to take a loan, then you may education loan or any kind of a thing. Okay, it can be taken. Be a little cautious how much you take, because why I tell all these things is that the economic conditions all over the world, especially in India also, due to repercussions from whatever happened due to the war, is not very great. So adding on to your expenses, because loan is also expense, should be taken with care. So it is a mixed kind of a transit. And also one thing is that when Mars is aspecting your 3rd house, which is a good aspect on the 3rd house, Leo, Ketu is already there and Sun is on the Lagna, you will in this month take certain decisions. Maybe decisions to leave a job, maybe walk out of it. That's why the 11th Lord can go to the 12th house. You can run out of regular wages for a certain amount of time. A change of place, all these things can happen, because Mercury is also getting retrograde. When Mercury gets retrograde, it is your Lagna Lord. Obviously, maybe that decision was pending, you want to take the decision. So a lot of things for the Gemini ascendant will happen due to this Mars transit, and also Mars aspecting Leo, the 3rd house where Ketu is there, and Mars and Jupiter aspecting the 6th house. So a change, a transformation, competitive environment is not very suitable at this point of time. You'll not get gains out of it. It is a mixed thing. I cannot say totally bad. Again, when Mars goes in the 12th house, there can be, maybe if you had lot of expenses, you can curtail it down. That can also happen, because Mars, Saturn, these planets in the 12th house, they give frugality at that point of time. So these things are happening at the same time. It can apply, see whatever applies to you in your dasha pattern. If the dasha is good, it can turn out to be a good transit. If the dasha is not very good, you have to be very careful with your decisions and health and the office environment, all these factors. So take care, Gemini ascendants. Cancer people, Cancer, this is a very good transit for you with Mars in the 11th house. Mars does well in the 11th house. Venus is as of now on the Lagna, and then it will go to your 2nd house. Now the thing which is there is that in the Leo house, when Venus reaches Leo, Mars is aspecting Leo where Ketu is already there. Please look into your expenses. Sometimes it happens so that we do not realize and we go beyond our means. This is not the time. Neither it is the time in the coming few years. Sorry to say that, but I have seen many Cancer ascendants. They are very emotionally driven. Emotions is good, but practicality must dawn in when the situation demands so. So what you are spending, the 2nd house can, because see, one thing I have learned is that when Venus goes into fiery sign, Venus is not, though you will say now the nakshatra of Venus is, all the nakshatras are in the fiery sign, Bharani, Purva Falguni, Purva Ashada, but still this is the experience that I have got looking into horoscope. When Venus is in fiery sign, the Lakshmi, the wealth gets a little depleted suddenly. That is why Venus is not very favorable. It is more favorable in the earthy sign. Earthy sign best, Venus. Then obviously it is, though it gets depleted in Virgo, but still it gives a lot of money. And then it is good in the airy sign also. I do not like Venus too much in the fiery and watery sign, though it gets exalted Venus in the Pisces still. So these are certain nuances of a planet which we look into the horoscope. By looking, we understand that how these things pan out. So that is why when the 11th lord is in the second house, Venus, but the Mars is aspecting this. Mars is a yoga karak planet for you. You can do speculation, and these can give you good result, because Jupiter now on the Lagna is aspecting the 5th house. Mars is also aspecting the 5th house. So these two together can give you some gains. What happens is that when the gain is added to your kitty, suddenly you want to take out and put it into something else or some kind of an expenses, because Ketu is waiting over there. You want to take out, Ketu will make you take out and drain off everything from the second house, which is your resources, which is your accumulated wealth. Venus is not too much in control. 11th lord in the second, it gives money in the second house 101%, but Ketu being there and Mars aspect too much fiery. Venus is a watery planet, it goes dry. So understand what I'm saying. A good thing can bring in 11th house Mars is good. 5th aspect, the aspect of Mars on Scorpio and Jupiter together, good. But what is not good is the 12th lord Mercury at this point of time will make a transit on the Lagna and then again go back to the 12th house. It shows expenses. And that is why this combination of Venus Ketu in the month of July 7th onwards in the second house aspect by Mars can suddenly deplete your wealth, even if you gain wealth. Gain is happening in the 11th house, the depletion is happening from the resources in the second house. Be very careful with that. That is important. This is what the transit of it. Otherwise, it is a good transit, no doubt about it, for the Cancer people. And I feel you will, after this transit, the Mars transit in the 12th house is not very good, obviously. Again, that's why I'm telling, whatever wealth comes, you have to keep it safe. Then Mars comes on the Lagna, which may feel bad, but yes, there it creates a Nij Bhang yoga with Jupiter, which is exalted, and Mars debilitated. But Mars gives money in Cancer, especially in Pushya Nakshatra, it gives money. So that we'll talk later. Mars has a very important role to play for your horoscope, especially as it will get on the Lagna and then it will stay in Leo for a very long time till next year June. So this time Mars is taking care of your monetary profits and all this. Maybe because I know Cancer people had been suffering, and because Rahu is in the 8th house, you have to be very careful with your finances. Very careful. Not only this year, next year Ketu will come on the Lagna, but that's a different story altogether. So yeah, it's a good transit for you. What can I say? Just whatever I have explained in my analysis, you just think over it and be careful with your money that comes in. It should not be depleted again. So take care. Leo ascendants, Leo people, this is the Mars in the 10th house. Again, 10th house Mars is very dynamic and it will put you, lot of work will come to you. And the aspect of Saturn is obviously there from the 8th house. You can sometimes feel a little bit jittery with how much Mars can give. It can be a tad bit, but still Mars does Digbala in these two transits of Mars are great for you. In the 10th house, 11th house, 12th house also good, but I'll explain you later. Then it comes on the Lagna. So now see, Leo people, you have to look into the big scenario. What is the scenario is that Mars comes in the 10th house. It is putting your full throttle in the professional matters. It is all about profession. and the profession lord, 10th lord Venus, goes on to the Lagna with Ketu in Leo. So Mars is also aspecting. Here you may feel very busy, sometimes you may feel erratic, sometimes you may feel quite tensed and you want to deliver to your best. Take it cool, do not get too much agitated. Mars will be aspecting your 4th house with Jupiter, Scorpio. Certain good developments in your, for your mother, for your native place, for your, where the place you are staying can happen very much. Some kind of, addition to it, some kind of a repair to the 4th house matters, whatever it is, that is good. Now Mars, when it is aspecting the Sagittarius 8th house, then it can be very strict with your progeny and love matters. So that is or with your speculations also. Anything wrong done will be given a cut over there, because Mars favors Sagittarius, but the 8th aspect is a little cutting for Mars. It is the deadly the deadly call of Mars in the 8th aspect. So in all, the transit is obviously good. It is quite a, and you'll feel charged up, that much is 100% sure, and you want to do more. Understand one thing, because it is just not Mars aspecting Leo with the 4th aspect, the protection is there, but Ketu is also there. It irritates you, and being a Leo Lagna, I know that. It is, again, I remind you, it is Ketu still on the Lagna. You will get rid of it in the month of December, and then it is always, you are still running Ashtam Shani if you are Leo Moon. If you are Leo Lagna also, 8th Saturn is slowing down things, no doubt about that, not an iota of doubt on that. You plan things, it pans out in a different way. So testing times, definitely most of the Lagnas have some or the other testing time. We are not in great times, we know that, but this is a great transit, that I must say. Use it to your maximum potential, and I feel you will feel good in your, just do not get irritated and just speak out something which is not required and later you regret about it, because Mars is also Taurus is also our speech. Whether it is in your professional area, whether it is to your near and dear ones, it can be anything. You have to constantly tell yourself, Ketu is on my Lagna, aspected by Mars and Venus in the month of July, whole month of July, nearly 7th to 2nd or 1st of August, it will be on the Lagna. So dynamic time, good time, maybe lot of work, you're unable to handle it, or you may feel there are a lot of things happening at the same time. Whatever it is, you have to keep yourself, patience is the key, and also do not jump into things or say words that you regret later. That is the only thing. If you feel that I do not need to express too much with people, then live in a little bit solitary environment. It helps a lot. Your work becomes more productive than going too much with people, because your Ashtam Shani does not want that. So if you live a little segregated life, your productivity will increase much. It's a good transit, no doubt about it. Okay, Virgo, this is the transit of Mars is now in your 9th house. Now it has come out of the 8th house, which I have last told. I hope you had maintained. Still now it is there in the 8th house, 1 week more. From 21st of June, it is coming into your 9th house. Hope your health is good. And Jupiter has now come into your 11th house. Mars is in the 9th house. Now see, one thing about Mars in the 9th house is that, yes, it is your 3rd lord. And because it is the 3rd lord coming, it is your efforts is in, going to different places, learning maybe short skills, short-term skills, short journeys, long journeys, all these things can happen. Now, the problem over here is that we don't want the 8th lord in the 9th house. That is the only issue with Mars. See, one problem with Virgo ascendants and Gemini is that Mars is a very ghatak kind of a planet for you. It is not, if you have moon which is if you have a different Rashi which is favorable for Mars, better. Otherwise, this when eighth lord comes into the ninth house, and if it is not friendly to the lagna, see there's some differences there. Like for Leo ascendants, eighth lord is Jupiter, favorable to the lagna. For you, it is not like that. So when eighth lord comes in the ninth house, there can be some, we say, bhagya bhang, or some impediments in going forward. What is the impediment? Let me tell you. See, Mars does good, ninth house is okay, but for very staunch kind of beliefs. Your boss can be irritating. That is one thing. Very rigid, irritating, and that is why now see again. Please do not say everything comes up for Virgo people. Yes, it is coming up. Why? Saturn is aspecting the lagna. It is testing you. Now Jupiter in the 11th house is aspecting this Saturn, which will ease out things a little bit. If you are running a dasha of Mars, it is not good at this point of time also. Why? I'll tell. 9th house Mars will have an aspect on the 12th house. If you are going to long distance foreign journeys, there can be hiccups over there. Because that is the Leo house, Ketu is there in the 12th house, Venus, your 9th lord, is there in the 12th house, and Mars is aspecting. In such a condition where there is Venus Ketu combination in the July month, I'll talk about it, and Mars aspect is there on Leo, Venus cannot save you. Your Bhagya lord cannot save you. So there will be, if you are going to foreign country for important jobs, important things, important discussions, if you have to go, take a proper muhurtam for the journey. Please do that. That is very important. Otherwise, there will be lot of chaotic situation and accidental prone things happening in the 12th house matters. You know, 12th house is, it can be both ways. It can be bliss from the god, at the same time it can be hospitalization, it can be lot of expenses, unforeseen things coming up, which is not good. Mars and Jupiter both are aspecting your 3rd house. Your decisions should be good. That is why I am relying on that. The 3rd house aspected by Jupiter and Mars, both what you are doing, your decisions should be good. Yes, Virgo people, I always say they do not jump to conclusions. They have that patience. That is the best part of Virgo. Best. They can toil hard, they have a lot of patience, and they look out for the right time, and they are not fiery kind of an element. They are not like that, and I like that quality. So that is why this is a very mixed transit. If I say it's not good again and again, you know, it gets repeated in that way, but I'll put it in this way, that you have to be very careful with whatever decisions you take, where you are going. If you are going for a new course or something, whether it is worth it, whatever it is, everything needs to be. And Mercury will go retrograde also in this time from 21st June onwards. Mercury will be in Gemini, it crosses onto Cancer, your 11th house. The position is good, retrogression is good, but retrogression means you have to contemplate, right, about your wherever Mercury is lording you, the Lagna and the 10th house. So some kind of decision, journeys regarding the 10th house matters. These things, sudden spoil sport in the journey, these things can happen. Mercury's condition is good. Other than it will get retrograde for some days, that from the 10th to the 11th back to the 10th, which is giving you the impetus, the thing to go forward, achieve your goals and all. But the position of Mars is a little bit still not to that extent good. So take care, Virgo people. It is a mixed kind of a transit. For Libra Lagna, the transit of Mars is in your 8th house. Now the Lagna Lord is in the 10th, and because it is the 8th lord also, Venus is the 8th lord, the dispositor of Mars will be in the 10th and the 11th house. Now see, when Mars is in the 8th house, obviously we talk about sudden incidents happening. Not necessarily if the dasha is not like that, but if the dasha is about Venus or Mars, something like that, some kind of sudden events, good and bad, depending on your placement, will happen. Some kind of change in decision, transformation, because it is your 2nd lord also going into the 8th house. Now see, when second lord goes into the 8th house and aspecting own house, the transit gives money. This is one thing that I have seen. So Mars in Taurus is money giving, and because the dispositor of Taurus or your Lagna Lord Venus is in the 10th and 11th house, it will bring money. Also Mars and Jupiter both are aspecting your second house, Jupiter from the 10th house and Mars from the 8th house. Gains wise, if you tell, this is a good transit. Yes, it is sometimes accident prone, 8th house Mars, so you have to be careful about that matter. Other than that thing, Mars is aspecting your 11th house where Ketu is already there. And because Ketu is there, Mars is aspecting, and Venus, your Lagna Lord, will also join. It can give a little bit of mixed result. 11th house, any planet does well, any planet. Whether it is Ketu, Venus. So gains wise, both the 11th and the 2nd house is getting activated. And the transit of Venus is also taking shape in the 10th house, 11th house, then in the 12th house, and then on the Lagna. Till December, this will be the transit of Venus. So Libra people, I feel you are, and because Jupiter has transited into Cancer now, you are entering a dynamic phase in the second half of 2026. Whatever that had been pending for you from the beginning of 2026 till this June month, this transit of Mars into the 8th house will bring a lot of changes, because it is your Taurus is the sign of accumulation, and it is aspecting, Mars is aspecting the 11th house, and then it will go to the, Mars will be having a good transit till your 11th house. So you and your partner can also see some, if you're a business, because many people Libra people are business people. So here it is a 7th lord in the 8th house accumulation. Your business can also flourish at this moment of time, seeing good gains from foreign lands or anything like that. So from my point of view, this is a good transit, barring the fact it is sometimes accident prone. And also another thing is that because it is aspecting the 2nd house Mars, you can have a sharp tongue. So this little care, if you have been if you can take, then this pans out to be a good transit. The placement of Venus is very, very important. Now it is in the 10th house. I have heard from 2-3 Libra people, they have joined new professional ventures, and then Venus goes into Leo with Ketu. I'll talk about that later. It's a very important transit. 11th house matters only that gains can be good when Venus is in the 11th with Ketu and Mars aspects Leo. Only issue it can be with your greater community people. There can be some disagreements or cut shots, something like that. It may happen. Other than barring the fact, this transit is not a bad transit. But you have to be a little careful with the transit. That is the only thing that I'll say. So take care, Libra. I'll come up with the video of Venus's long transit in Libra and Virgo. Virgo Venus is money giving, but it is your 12th house. You can accumulate that money without spending, and then Venus comes into Libra, and this transit will start the Virgo and Libra Venus. Once Venus gets debilitated, and then it is in Mool Trikon on your Lagna, starts from August after this transit. Exactly from 2nd of August, Venus will be in debilitation in the 12th house, and then going into Libra, back and forth till the 31st of December. August, September, October, November, December. 5 months Venus will be having a big transit of retrogression in debilitation and Mool Trikon. So Libra people, especially for you are gearing up for something which will leave a mark on your personality, something good. And so please do not be in a rush. take because Libra people are quite balanced. I mean, they try to be balanced. If they are not exactly balanced, they try to go towards that path, or they learn in life how to gain balance. And this I think it will be quite a productive transit for you, this Venus transit, in the 10th, 11th, 12th and on the Lagna till the 31st of December. It will bring some wealth generation, some goodwill, some name, fame, if that kind of a dasha you have, because it can be Libra Venus for a long time. It can be icing on the cake. Your health can become good because Saturn has been there in the 6th house for long. You can overcome competition by diplomacy. Jupiter, the 6th lord, in the 10th house. So all these things, the journey begins how to tackle this Mars in the 8th house. You have to go through some kind of changes, but you can tackle it well, and it will give you gains. No, there's no doubt about it. So best of luck, Libra. Scorpio people, see, it is the 7th house as transit of Mars. Now for Scorpio, it is a good transit. 7th house, you feel very attached to your partner. Mars and Jupiter both aspecting the Lagna. Wow, this is great. Actually, you feel quite rejuvenated after a very long time. So I think I should not talk too much about Scorpio, because good things, the less you reveal, the better it is. As it comes through, it will be better. Hope you are running a dasha which gives you all the results of Mars and Jupiter that is happening. Just one caution among all these things, the direct aspect of Mars, you'll feel very attached to your partner also. Just one caution is that because Venus transit is happening when this Mars is in Taurus, Venus is in with Cancer and also then in Leo, especially in the month of July, more or less from 7th of July onwards, Venus will be in Leo, 10th house. So there it will have a conjunction with Ketu, and your Lagna Lord is aspecting Leo. Now Mars will never harm the Leo quotient, the 10th house matters, but the thing is that Sun now, as we are talking, is going into the 8th house. Okay, so here there can be sudden some shifts and turns in the 10th house matters which you have to navigate. Do not give up on the matters. You can navigate them, you can make it happen, you can make it fruitful. Okay, and because Venus is the 12th lord, it will bring some changes in your environment, in the professional area, especially if you are running that kind of a dasha. Still it will bring some change. Now you are at the helm of affairs, because Mars 4th house is the protection, 4th aspect is a protection aspect on Leo. So there is too much of fire element, Ketu being there, Mars is aspecting 12th lord, Venus is there, all these things. So be careful about the 10th house things. And at this point of time, as I'm talking, Sun is going into the 8th house. So there can some kind of a change, which is, I'm not talking it is bad. If you shift a company also at this point of time, it may happen, very much it may happen. You get the impetus. Because Mars and Jupiter both are aspecting the Lagna, you get the impetus. So these things can happen. If these things happen, you carry it out in dignity and do not rush. Because Mars is aspecting very important houses from the 7th house. Yes, 7th house Mars has a Maran Karaka problem that is there, but here in transit, I mean, you unnecessarily do not fight with your partner. It's not required. Do not force too much. Do not feel too much possessive about it, because you have to look into the 10th house matters. You have to look Lagna also Mars is aspecting, and Mars is aspecting the 2nd house of Sagittarius. So all the houses are good for the aspect also. They are, Mars protects them. It is good sign for Mars. Leo, Scorpio, Sagittarius. So do not let this go a waste. It is a good transit, no doubt about it. Yeah. Next transit is a little bit difficult. After that, again Mars gains momentum. Gemini transit, Mars in the 8th. I don't feel it is very good. That is why you have to be a little careful after this transit for that Mars in Gemini. Yeah. Okay, Sagittarius, Mars is coming into Taurus, which is your 6th house. Obviously 6th house Mars is like putting you on a full throttle to fight, whether it is competitive exams because it is the 5th lord in the 6th house, whether it is for your love matters, whether it is for your regular job, whether it's a change in something. All these things are favored by the position of Mars. Now Mars will have an aspect on Leo, Scorpio and on the Lagna. Now the thing is that because Jupiter is in the 8th house, some changes will happen in the next 5 months for you, and you have to go with the changes. Now over here, because the 6th lord is now going on to the Bhagya dasha in the July month, Venus, now it is in the 8th, then conjuncting your Lagna lord, then it will go into the 9th house. Mars will be also aspecting the 9th house of Leo. Here some upheavals can happen with the boss, with the father. You will be at the helm of affairs. You have to be a little careful and tackle it, because Venus, as you know, is the 6th and the 11th lord. It can put too much of pressure with Ketu and Mars aspecting, especially in the month of July, in your 9th house matters, so be a little careful about that. Otherwise, Mars aspecting the 12th house, it'll protect your unnecessary spending if at all you do. And also Mars is aspecting the Lagna. So unnecessary things you'll be cutting off, because this is the cutting off aspect of Mars on the Lagna. You'll feel very driven. You will feel that will happen when Mars comes in Gemini also, directly aspecting Lagna. You will feel boosted up. You will be able to fight in competitive things in Rogrin Shatru. If you want to take a loan, you can. You just have to chalk out, because you are running a 4th Saturn, and that Saturn is aspecting Mars. So these are the small glitches, you know. Otherwise the transit is good in the 6th house. Obviously one thing is there, when for Leo and Sagittarius Mars comes into the 6th house, another problem that happens is that Mars is the 5th lord. We do not want the Bhagya, the luck lord coming into the 6th house, right? Which means it is not favoring you directly. With Sangharsh, with lot of competitiveness, with lot of determination, you have to go and cross the threshold. So that is the only catch. Otherwise, if you take a loan, I think your decision will be correct in what you want. Do not go overpowered by the decision making with Rahu in the 3rd house. Now it will go into Dhanishta. That is one thing. But Rogrin Shatru, 6th house Mars is good. It gives impetus for that. Competitive exams and all these things, if you have any kind of health problems, it will be rectified. All these things, if you are overweight, because many Sagittarius people came and said that Jupiter in the 7th house and now in the 8th house they have gained weight, so you can start a regime where you can start with your physical activity also, being dynamic, being get going with the thing. So transit is good, but certain points are there, as I have mentioned. Please listen properly. 9th house matters, boss, father. 5th house matters, as the 5th lord is going into the 6th house. These two things you have to take into consideration. Otherwise the transit is a good transit. Okay, Capricorn Mars is coming into the 5th house. Okay, this transit of Capricorn, I will not say it is a very good transit, though it can bring in gains, as Mars and Jupiter both will be aspecting the 11th house. Especially Mars is aspecting Scorpio. Where it is sitting, it can bring in problem with that area. I have seen one thing, when Mars comes into the 5th house with the house of intelligence, speculation and all these things, people become very staunch in their attitude, very strict and rigid, because Mars is a rigid planet and it is in a rigid sign like Taurus. It's the bull. Do not behave like the bull. Remain a little bit of flexible, because you understand one thing. If you feel you have taken a decision and your intelligence is the right one and nobody can make you change, you are that stubborn at this moment of time. If you have original Mars in the 5th house, God helps you. Now I cannot help. And Mars is aspecting Leo, the 8th house where Ketu is. and your fifth lord is now going and joining Ketu also. I'll talk about that later, but this is important. Ketu is there in the 8th house and Mars is aspecting now the 8th house. You have to be careful with your health, with sudden changes, with sudden accidents, all these things. And do not be roughshod with your love matters or progeny, which very much happens when Mars comes in Taurus in the 5th house. Mars aspect in the 8th house is protective, Leo, definitely it can protect, but certain things happen and then you go for the rectification before you keep a watch on the things, how it is moving, you know, because it is too volatile when Ketu is there in the 8th and sudden changes happen, and Mars is aspecting again the sign of Leo, and your fifth lord will go in the month of July in that Leo house. So, you know, this is a luck taking a little bit of sour turn. I have to say that, so that you become careful, especially in the month of July. Later, Venus's transits are good from Virgo to Libra. That is good. Now, so you have to be more careful till the time Mars is in the 5th house and Venus is in the 8th house. That is this till the end of July. From August the scenario is changing. So these 2 months, the 15 days of June month and the rest of July, the whole of July month, be a little careful. That's the thing. Now Mars is aspect in the 11th house, and then Mars later coming into the 6th house can give you impetus for doing things. That is good. That is not a problem. If your dasha is especially Mars Saturn, you can feel frustrated because Saturn will go retrograde slowly next month, and Saturn is having an aspect on Mars. So that is why the transit is, you know, what I'm trying to say, whether it brings gains to you, whether you fall in love, whether you go into a relationship, you'll become very rigid oriented, and your decisions can be unnecessarily, you put stress on this is how I want it and this is how it will happen. So be careful with your investment also. 8th house is not looking very good with the 5th lord in the 8th and with Ketu aspected by Mars, especially July month. Capricorn people, you have to be very careful with your health, with your speculation, where your money is going. Mars's 8th aspect will be in Sagittarius, which is the 12th house. So sudden loss of money, these things, this is a cautionary video rather, and a transit for you Capricorn. So take care of that, where you are landing yourself and what decisions you are taking. But yes, when transformation happens, these kind of things happen because Ketu being in the 8th house, it is bringing a transformation now. Venus, the 5th lord and the 10th lord, transformation in the profession, aspected by Mars, which is the 11th lord and the 4th lord. So change in place, you go somewhere, you were living for a long time, you get transferred suddenly, all these things can happen. So take care Capricorn. Now Aquarius. Aquarius, Mars is in the 4th house in Taurus, and it is aspecting the 10th house with Jupiter. Good for you. Some professional growth. Mars is aspecting its own house. It is sitting in Taurus. Real estate, cars, all these things can be favored. If you want, you can in the lookout for, you may get one. The aspect of Mars is not good in Leo, because the 4th lord goes into the 7th house, and Ketu being there, Mars aspecting Leo, can brew up a lot of tension with the partner or partnership or anything. So 7th house matters does not look very good. What looks good is the 10th house matters. Mars is aspecting Scorpio. Jupiter from the 6th house is also aspecting Scorpio, and Saturn is also in Pisces in trines to Scorpio. So professional matters looks good now, Aquarius. You can have and you will have a better sail through the professional front. Relationship front does not look very good because Mars, when sits in the 4th house, you know, it's dikshunya. It can unnecessarily create worries at the home front, some quarrels or something like that, and it is aspecting the 7th house where Ketu is already there. So these two areas needs your Very keen observation, especially from 21st of June to the end of July, 2nd August roughly. So that is the time when Mars is transiting your 4th house. Do not go rough with your family members. Do not unnecessarily pick up quarrel with life partner or family members. If you are going for a real estate at this point of time, Saturn is also aspecting Taurus. You may have a clear documentation, because within this time Mercury will go retrograde. It will go into Cancer, coming back to Gemini retrograde. So be very careful with documentation. If you buy a car, what is you are spending, what you are doing, all these things, it is good to make these kind of decisions. But you must be Mars, because 4th house Mars, spur of a moment you take a decision. It should not be like that. The transit is 70-40, I'll say good, and 70% it is good. Actually it is. Mars is aspecting the 10th house and the 11th house, but Mars is here good for material well-being and professional things, rather not that good about your matters at the home or relationship. So see, when you have a Rahu on the Lagna, and in Kendra Mars now comes, you become very forceful sometimes in your attitude, in your behavior, maybe for a time being. So that you need to check a little bit. There can be constructions also, changes in the home front. If you had anything to add to your home, you may. For professional matters, you may have to go out of your comfort zone. That can also happen. So these things, there are certain changes definitely in this transit of Mars and Kendra, which is your 10th lord, 3rd lord coming into the 4th house. So these things are there. Professional environment looks better. You'll be able to manage things out there. So all in all, it is not a bad transit. Definitely certain pockets looks a little bit dismal. Do not if you can put some brakes on your tongue, on your temper, it'll be okay. Because that is a problem with Mars in the 4th house. It is like a debilitated Mars, right? But it is good for real estates and any material possessions. It is not good for relationship front, which needs the utmost care at this point of time. Take care, Aquarius. Pisces ascendant. Pisces, Mars is coming into the 3rd house in Taurus, and Mars is aspecting the Bhagya Dasha, Scorpio, fortune house with Jupiter from the 5th house. So here, with efforts, your Bhagya rises. You will take correct decisions. That is also there. Venus, your 8th lord and the 3rd lord comes in the 6th house, which is good. You will be able to, give good competition to your Ketu being there in the 6th house. Your enemies or hidden enemies or competitors will face a tough competition from you, because Mars is also aspecting the house of Leo. So this is all in all a very good transit for you, Pisces. It is aspecting it is there in the 3rd house, which is the Karaka. 3rd house is the Mercury, Mars. They do good decision making, Purusharth, your boldness, your going places, doing things. All these things are favored by Mars in the 3rd house. And also Mars is aspecting Scorpio, 9th house with Jupiter. Your Bhagya Udaya will definitely happen at this point of time. Mars is also aspecting Sagittarius, your 10th house. So you'll eliminate the unnecessary things in the professional area, and you will go for a better dynamic approach. Mars is also by the 4th aspect aspecting the Leo 6th house, where Ketu is already there. You will overcome by your sheer willpower against your enemies. So, and I think if Rogue in Shatru, Rogue is any kind of medical thing, any kind of rin means loan or anything, you will be able to pay it off at this point of time if you want, and the dasha is suiting you or supporting you. These 3 things, Rogue, Rin, Shatru, will be vanquished. This is a good thing. So nothing negative much to tell about this. I'm feeling good about Pisces people who have been going through a lot with Saturn on the Lagna. When these kind of transits happen, it is really nice to speak about, and when the results also follow through, it is even better. So even we do not want to speak the negative. At least I don't. But when I see the negative, I cannot cover it up with a golden, that thing. I cannot do that. That is not my, that's not how I deal with things. I spade a spade. That is important, so that you also know. But now the time is good, and you must make good progress in your life, in your different pockets of your life. So have a nice time, Pisces people. So let the Mars, in the second house, in the third house, bring you a better phase and a dynamic phase and a much progressive phase in your life. Best of luck. So this was my take on Mars in Taurus. Next video with another transit and a little bit of explanation. Till then, my friends, take care of yourself. Bye bye. Have a good day.